and action.
Those hands together. Come on, you lot. Looking back over my shoulder.
I guess the Mechanics started really back in the mid-80s because at the time Genesis had done a lot of albums non-stop, and we all kind of felt it was time to actually do other projects. And I was very keen not to say who I was from Genesis, Mike Rutherford. So no one knew who we were. And it just kind of took off. The first song, Silent Running, was a big hit in America, and it kind of went from there, really.
With an aching deep in my heart. I wish
The last Mechanics project was really when Paul Young was still alive. Because always the Mechanics had two great singers on stage. When Brian Rawlins, who's a well-known producer, said to me, "What are the Mechanics doing?" And he said, "Why don't you go back to the very first album, which had 3 or 4 singers on it, and just see where it goes in a sense, because there's a sort of sound there with the Mechanics has always had." Andrew came down.
The first time I ever heard of the Mechanics was when they had a Living Years out, a massive tune, and then I heard more stuff over my shoulder, some of the singles, getting a phone call from Chris Neal, the producer and co-writer of Mechanics, saying, "Come down to the studio." I was like, "Yeah, I'm interested."
The first day he read a couple of songs, and that was very easy. And then Tim came down, and kind of bit by bit, it kind of took shape, really.
I think the way in which it was orchestrated in Canada and America, the way in which Mike said he wanted to keep your profile on the down low so the band would just take off. Later on, everybody went, "Oh yeah, that's the guy from Genesis." But it was Mike and the Mechanics that I first fell in love with.
I guess really once you get 2 singers on board, it seems like the real thing.
All my family, all my friends.
One of the first things I remember when Andrew came down was trying to save me.
The whole thing was pretty much a natural process, you know. It wasn't like there was any sort of set pressure, we have to do this, we have to do that. Just like, let's just write some songs together and see what happens. And Mike was very open to trying things and whatever, and that's the result. It came about like that.
Try to save it like I saved it.
We've done a couple of showcase gigs, so we kind of know how it works. And it was a great vibe on stage, I thought.
Wicked vibe.
At both those events, you got two kind of lead singers, which I think actually is the real Mechanics plus.
Stereo.
It's a big stereo.
Stereo vocalist.
These two kind of hit it off together and sort of, they kind of feed off each other. And that's, I think, something quite unusual on stage.
When you're singing, I can back that up because I love that style of singing and vice versa. You know? We both sung a bit of soul, both sung a bit of rock.
Yeah.
And it's nice also to feel like I'm covered. My back's covered, you know?
Yeah, definitely.
And the road gets brighter, and the load gets lighter. It's so much better.
I think The Road is a solid tune. It brings you back to that kind of idea that when you listen to your favorite band, you can be with 1 million people, you can be by yourself, but it still makes you go, yeah, I want to get in my car. And it makes everything come alive. And, I love that the album is titled that.
We still got so much to carry, so far to go.
We're looking forward to when the album comes out, and we will also be obviously doing the UK tour, and we start on the 1st of May, and it's going to be like the whole UK and quite extensive tour, so it's going to be great.
I said, go if you wanna go.
I guess it's kind of obvious we're going to do a mixture of old and new songs, and we've got such a great catalogue to choose from. And they're great live songs.
All I need is a miracle. All I need is you.
You know what I was surprised about was like how quickly the people got their heads around it and got into it. They liked the new stuff, so it kind of just fitted in.
Reach out and touch the sun. Oh, reach out and feel again.
Reach Out, Touch the Sun. That was a co-write with Ben and Jamie Norton. Once again, it brings something different because Jamie's a keyboard player, and so the sound of that kind of keyboards he's playing gave it a different texture.
I actually thought it was kind of an interesting place for Mechanics to go because it's different. Like the fact that Mike likes to challenge himself as well, which is I think what it's about.
Reach out and touch the sun.